The young man was smashed by him, and he was dizzy and almost untenable. The people around were also taken aback by this sudden use of wine bottle. Harold stared at the young man with blood on his face and sneered, "If you don't get out, I will break your leg." The young man gritted his teeth, covered his head, and said, "Okay, you have guts. You wait for me." After that, the young man clutched his smashed head and ran out in a hurry. Harold laughed disdainfully, and said, "Fool, dare you to threaten me? I don't even ask, who is Harold afraid of in this city?" After speaking, he deliberately said to Elsa with a smug look, "Elsa, there are such flies everywhere, don't be affected by him, let's continue to eat and leave him alone." Elsa was not in a good mood after being so disturbed. She nodded and did not speak. During the meal, Harold tried to invigorate the atmosphere several times, but Elsa didn't catch it. In her eyes, Harold was not only incapable but also a little too reckless. Such a man couldn't stay in her eyes. Harold originally thought that by standing up to that man directly in front of Elsa, should subdue her, but never expected that Elsa seemed to be a little more repulsive and disgusted with him. This made him feel particularly depressed. He didn't expect that Elsa didn't like men who use violence. Isn't this shooting himself in the foot? For a meal, Harold was extremely depressed. He had just finished eating. He originally wanted to chat with Elsa a few more words to increase his relationship. As a result, Elsa frowned and said, "It's late, I have to go back, thank you for your hospitality." Harold was depressed and said, "Then I will drop you." Elsa shook her head, "No, I will just take a taxi." At this time, Elsa just wanted to quickly draw a line with Harold. Harold was very angry, and said, "Then I will join you to the car, otherwise." Elsa did not refuse, nodded, and got up and walked out. Harold hurriedly followed. He suffocated his stomach and wanted to make a romantic date. He took the opportunity to confess to Elsa, but he didn't expect that it starred to ruin everything. There was no chance at all, and he seemed to have left a bad impression on Elsa. "If I meet him again, I must kill him." Harold cursed bitterly. At this moment, Charlie had just finished eating and was clearing the dishes. Claire said anxiously at this time, "Charlie, there is a supplier quotation document in my bag. Have you seen it?" Charlie shook his head. "I haven't touched your bag since I came back." Claire thought for a while before she patted her forehead and said, "Oh, the documents should have fallen in the meeting room of the Grand Group. I have to use them tomorrow morning. Or you can drive me to fetch them." Charlie smiled and said, "You are so tired. Take some rest. I'll get it for you." Claire sighed and said, "I am really exhausted, so please do it for me. The document number is GY20191101. Charlie waved his hand and said, "It's not a big deal." After that, Charlie drove to the Wilson Group. Here, Harold and Elsa had just left the hotel and came to the roadside. Elsa was about to take a taxi, and at this moment, 3 white vans parked on the side of the road, and a dozen strong men suddenly got off and rushed over aggressively. The dozen or so people are all black cloth masked, holding steel pipes, and they are here to seek revenge. Not good. When Harold saw so many people running towards him, he was half dead in shock. Elsa also saw this scene, and her face paled in shock. She guessed that this group of people must be the young man who had just sought revenge. Looking at this posture, she was afraid that they would kill her. Sure enough, a young man with gauze on his head stood up and shouted, "D*MN. That is the it starred." As soon as the voice fell, everyone immediately rushed towards Harold with an order. "I am the young master of the Wilson family. You dare to touch me." Harold was flustered and yelled pretentiously. A strong man smiled contemptuously and slammed a steel pipe at him when he came up.